man.
Right. Brandon King, the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh
Welcome
no.
to the show. Yeah. So, I was getting this podcast going and thinking about who I should reach out to and talk to and who's got a pretty unique and inspiring story. And you definitely come top of mind. So I'd love to kind of give you the floor for a couple minutes to talk about your journey into entrepreneurship, what you're working on now and how you got there.
All right. Man.
Cold start. I mean, just like, bam, no warm up, man. Just it.
Yeah, no warm up. That's all good though, man. Shit, man, got quite a bit of a journey, man. I think I've always been entrepreneurial, just didn't necessarily know it. Right. But I mean, long story short, bro. Uh, Former athlete, obviously. I think I've been playing ball. I think I've been playing football since I was 5. I don't play anymore, obviously. But that journey started, man, and made it through college into the NFL. And when you become an NFL player, I actually say when you become a college athlete, right? That's kind of like your first taste of what building your own brand is all kind of about, right? You kind of get to, well, I'll say back in 2000, because I went to Purdue from 2005, 2009, and social media wasn't quite like it is today. So I couldn't imagine being Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, one of these big time quarterbacks or something like that. And it literally already being in college, Nick, already having a whole brand built up with millions of followers, right? So, me going through that, I did kind of get to build my brand in college. So that was kind of like the first taste of entrepreneurship. And then in the NFL, it really takes a whole nother turn, right? Because you are a business. The name on the back of your jersey is you are the entrepreneur. Except your lead investor happens to be the team owner, right? So you kind of he is like, right? He's already a pretty scaled VC with a lot of dollars, right? To spend, and he's used to investing in brand new products every year. I don't want to call it products, but it's kind of how it goes. But so yeah, man. So that kind of gave me, my first spill in it, right? Like being my own brand, bringing my own product, knowing that, I represented my family name and brand. And so everything I did while I was playing was watched, right? And so it was kind of my first taste of it. But then I kind of, as you start making money, man, I kind of started wanting to do other things with my money. And that's how I got into tech, right? Start wanting to learn more about it. And I think my rookie year was 2010, right? So I think that was kind of one of the, I don't know, it'd been a lot of tech booms, right, Nick? But, from about '08 to probably about 2012, we saw what Instagram, Twitter kind of take off as platforms. And I think I was one of the first people to get like a verified Twitter account, verified badges on stuff like that. So, and we're super intrigued by it, man. And so I think, long story short, obviously I didn't play forever in the league. I played about 4 years, and just naturally, always been fascinated with tech. In fact, I tried to study it at, I tried to become a engineer at Purdue, but was told no. They said you're here to play football, not not go to school. They said it, but they didn't say it in that way. I still remember the coach. He gave me some 2 or 1 type situation. Like, you're here for that. I can't say in front of AD. But it was funny, and then that's how I knew that shit was a big business. Like, right, like it was crazy. But anyway, so I think I got into tech around 13, 14. I built the game right out of basically it was like some Roblox. It would be like Roblox code today. I think that's how I did it. Built the game, man. Got it to like 8th on the App Store, and it was over from that point on as far as being an entrepreneur. But it wasn't over from that point. Like, well, in my mind it was, but like the hurdles I was gonna face were just start. They were just fucking get started, to be honest with you. Built the game, man. Started getting some traction, and then came up with the idea for a applicant tracking system, right? Little did I know that would be quite a journey, but that the small successes and ultimately the failures I had with that were kind of lay the groundwork for where I am today. It definitely taught me about the world of entrepreneurship and technology, as well as like VC land, angel funding, just stuff I had no idea that existed. Here I was thinking, okay, I get the money or get somebody to build your product. You kind of, flesh out the bugs in the app, and then you just put it on there, and they'll just start coming, right? That's how it works. They'll start coming. No, that's not how it works. It's a whole process that goes into being an entrepreneur. Building the team, making sure your team is the right team. Like why are you the people to build this product? What makes your team so special, right? I think I underestimated that in the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, like just how big, how much, and how helpful teams could be, and really it's that founding team that these people with the checks, they who they want to write checks to, right? Like you kind of got to check off the boxes, because here I was all my career. I think like I just explained earlier, I was used to kind of being a solopreneur, right, doing it all myself, playing ball, and even though you're a part of the team playing ball, at the end of the day, you got a job to do because it's levels to move up into football ranks. So, I got into tech entrepreneurship and couldn't do that anymore, right? Or I couldn't do the whole job myself, right? And so hence to how I became an engineer, right? Like I didn't want to depend on anybody to have to build anything for me, or I just want that hurdle knocked out, right? Because that was one of the things I saw that was most challenging is actually building the product, right? You got an idea for an MVP, like how do I get it to market, right? And so that drove me to become a engineer, and has been the number one driver in my entrepreneurial career so far, and is the reason why I am where I am today with this platform, FanSub, that just went live a few weeks ago, and which is a virtual events platform. Any entertainer, artist, or organization can basically build a paid live stream event, and then sell tickets through mobile devices, and then they can people can watch these paid live events on Android, iOS, or TV devices, or on the desktop web. And so, yeah, man, like I hope I didn't skip anything, but that's kind of how I got to the product I'm building today. I know I skipped a bunch of part about obviously.
That's all good.
I had my tenure at Smashing Boxes, worked there. Kind of really, I say Nick for taught me the basis of object-oriented programming. I knew a lot, but Mike Westlander, a lot of those guys definitely helped lay the foundation. It was yourself too. How to go about doing business, how to kind of think outside the box in tech, and how to definitely make an impact. So yeah, I still tell people all the time, man, Smashing Boxes is my first job. Like I tell them all the time, like what's that? And then I tell them, then they go to your site. It's something, but I have ran into people, Nick, that they know what Smashing Boxes is. Oh, you're about to shop in Durham, right? I'm like, yeah, shop in Durham.
That's funny. It's your first job, outside of being an NFL player, outside of building a top 10 game on the App Store. And then, right. So that's funny. Well, no, that was great. I mean, and who knows? I don't know what I'm doing with this whole podcast, but, maybe I should have started with what you're working on now in that story. But I think that story provides a good context for kind of how you got to where you are now. But there's so many more things to dive into, like the challenges faced of sort of almost, I mean, not stardom, but you're used to just being like, wow, I'm the best. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, new world and stuff. World. So, but let's go about FanSub. So what is FanSub, and what was like why did you decide to do that? And where's the company at today? You just launched and all that. So, yeah.
Right. So I think, co-founder of mine,
you live in Atlanta too, right? So Atlanta.
So I'm in
Mecca
the mecca of music, of really is it just entertainment now? Like everybody they shoot Marvel movies,
got
here.
All of it. Yeah.
Like so they do everything here. So and I say it's the king of the rappers, right? Like they're here, like the biggest of who's who we listen to. Atlanta's big time city. So being here, man, like got tangled up with kind of a guy that was into music, like, right? And so I think this was right around, I think it was like December last year, a fellow engineer that I had met from a project we were working on at Coca-Cola had a idea for, like, it started out, Nick, is like I think he brought it to me, pitched it as like a version of Patreon where they gave you more control, basically, right?
Mm.
And so we kind of took the concept, pitched it to some people, like, and kicked it around, and actually liked the from the customer discovery we did, like what we heard, right? And then so I think at that point, me and him kind of sat down, got on Sketch, or I know maybe Adobe XD, and just kind of hashed a little version of what it would look like out, and we actually liked it, right? We thought it would be dope, and so we came up with a concept, man, to how, the whole concept ended up being like, we wanted to find a way to engage the artist, right? Or the entertainer. Cause the problem that we were hearing from, artists, small, to medium size, is that they didn't necessarily, they may have had, Nick, these, you may have had 10,000 followers on Instagram or Twitter, but when it came to engaging those folks, from the post they put out to just any link or any type of, post they make, somebody that had 10,000 people, they were only getting minimal views or minimal traction on a post that said they had, 10, 20,000 people, right? And so we were like, well, damn, like, why didn't Instagram, Twitter, Facebook give you more control of your data? Like, you are helping them grow as a company. It should only be right that they kind of do you a favor and help you kind of, build your business around, to work for you. So long story short, just from that concept of, the bigger social platforms not giving people access to their data, and now also features to help them engage with their fans as well as monetize that data. That's where FanSub came from, like, right, with the thought being that, like, we'll be a platform where every follower you gain, every new subscriber you gain, we're gonna hand them to you, man. Like, all their, the information that we see on our dashboard as a company, you should have that access to, right? And so we were planning to do that with, by letting people be able to manage their subscriptions on FanSub, as well as, being able to turn around and then communicate with those followers and subscriptions in the form of push notifications, right? So being able to get right on the front of somebody's phone, and being able, as an artist or entertainer, hey, I got a new release, bam, I get to get right down to my core fans, put it right on the front of their phone with a message, to a link to anything they wanted. And this thing just did not exist at the time. I'm like, this doesn't exist. Like, this capability, this is in here. And then, through our discovery and talk to a bunch of artists and just labels, a product like this didn't exist at the point. Like, yeah, you can take if you were a developer, you could take and build something for Twilio, but nobody had built a product where, that was streamlined, where an artist could go, start building their following on this platform, and then have features to help them continue to nurture their fandom, and as well as just offer different solutions to let them engage their fans, right? So that's where FanSub came from. And then COVID hit, and somebody, I don't remember, I think it may have been Paige Craig, actually, who's an investor who I've been pitching around this concept with from the beginning. It thought we should maybe give live streaming events a spin, because nobody was at the time, like, when we hit, nobody, concerts had been, or just live events period, Nick, had been completely shut down. Like, nobody was making any money. And so we already had the concept for FanSub, and then so we threw in the live events portion to it, which made it now this system of, with the live event, you can bring in a big pile, you can make a lot of money up front, and you can also bring in a huge swath of data at the time, right? And then, and now when that data is in place with our map functionality and our push notification campaigns, you could then turn back around and remarket to that data, right? And so that was the concept for FanSub that came up, like a self-management tool that allowed artists as well as organizations to manage the fan engagement. That's basically what it was. And the events portion just kind of helped set it on fire, as far as like bringing just big parts of like monetizing, things like album release parties. Nick, like Drake he can right now on our platform turn it on and sell tickets for $10.99 to an album release party or to some exclusive event and ticket it, right? And so that's how it came about. And then as we so that concept came about. I think in March, I had a lot of functionality built, and then as from March till I think May, the live events portion just took over, and I think we were just focused on like how to hash that out, like building a product that could scale where anybody could build a pay live event. And we got around to doing our first show, which wasn't paid, around June, right? So we were cast with, all of a sudden I didn't know anything about live streaming at the time, but now I had to go build, you know, a web platform as well as a React Native, two React Native, or one React Native platform for iOS and Android. So that's a little backstory of how FanSub came about. And then as of now, we are now one of the only full self-serve platforms where any organization or entertainer can come to fansub.live and actually go create their own paid live event. And we hand them deep link URLs that also can be intermingled with sponsors, as well as like a whole dashboard to manage all their analytics that come back. So that's a little backstory of what FanSub, man, and how we've gotten to where we are today.
Yeah. So is it like, would it be accurate to say it's like B2B to C? Like, are you ultimately selling to the businesses that are, the artists and their groups, and then they go out and push it to fans, or are you trying to be like a
So it's definitely a B2B to C play. So we go out and like our clients are artists and organizations, and most of those organizations are labels at the current moment. So either they're independent artists or they are, and actually we just got some events companies. I don't know if they even throw the type of events we're looking for, but we've been getting a lot of, I'd say it's even between independent artists and just labels and just other type of, event booking people. Like there's a lot of booking agents that have all of a sudden come out of nowhere that are looking to take advantage of this platform. Cause we plan to introduce, I don't know, I want to do a lot in it, but I see this as a hybrid model that people can continue to use well into COVID. Cause what we can do now that we're, because nobody had before, Nick, and maybe Ticketmaster was doing this, but no platform that we knew of was actually letting people ticketed live streams. And then that kind of got us into, there's this new thing where, you can ticket live stream, but the data aspect of being able to hand the artist or organization was like kind of the sleeper in the room. So that's kind of one of our differentiators that, unlike some other events, previously, like Ticketmaster, Live Nation, they're not handing you any data. They're keeping that to market themselves to make decisions. We as a company are not holding that data. Like our artists that, every ticket you sell will hang you back first name, last name, email address, location, if people give access to it, so that you and your team or your organization can make decisions going forward as far as releases, doing other streams, doing other shows.
Yep. Well, I think it's a part of a trend of putting, sort of the people in the center of the process, and putting like the product here is the artist. It's the art. Well, it's the art, made by the artist.
It's art made by
everyone's hoarding the fucking data, man, or the value. A lot of people are hoarding the value that artist creates, and they're making money off of it, right? So Facebook, Instagram, Live Nation, Ticketmaster,
right.
And that's definitely a disruptible kind of paradigm, which is, hey, I want my own stuff, but just like anyone who kind of like if the complaints aren't loud enough, like everyone can ignore it because no one cares. Like the fans still get to do it, and then you have to do it. You have to go through that funnel. You can't replace that stage and that venue and that city, and like it's a machine. You just plug in and you just deal with what you get. There's no collective bargaining agreement, I guess, like group.
There's no
right. So there's no. It's just like, damn. And think about that. Like think of how bad it is, kind of in some ways for NFL. I mean, it's bad, but I mean, people are still making money. But like, and they have a group. They have a group advocating for kind of the players. Yeah. And
it still don't work sometimes. We still don't, we didn't get what we want. We got bullied into deals. You know that, like we did, like we lost to the owners. Like we've lost every time. I think so. I don't think we won one collective bargaining agreement, but so just like you were saying, artists, they don't even have a chance to stand on, right? They kind of got to go with what they're given.
Yeah. And it sounds like, this actually took sort of a fortuitous turn, whereas maybe just like, hey, build your following and own your data.
Hmm.
But like, there wasn't really a big play with events, because how would you just break into that? And now with
Right.
all the events going virtual, you can get
Hmm.
an audience. And then
Hmm.
I'm just, kind of extrapolating, but
Hmm.
now if you get enough customers, they're going to take this back to the next venue and say, hey, every time I do a live show, this is my sort of companion
This.
hybrid product,
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
you
And
know?
so that's what FanSub has literally, like, Nick, over the last 2 weeks. Like, we've been getting inquiries from everybody to, like, make it hybrid. Like I want to be able to sell tickets both ways. So now we're already pivoting somewhat, and we
Yep.
just literally got started, and it's already
Yep.
been pivoted. It's already, like, customers are
Well,
already making us pivot into that model.
Well, I was going to ask, because like if Live Nation has control of the venue, they could block you out and be like, no, you can't bring this fan sub in here. And so now maybe artists and promoters are like, well, let's just find a different venue. Like, what is it?
Right.
Just a stage? I mean, like literally,
It,
what's the value that Live Nation provides?
you're right. So they own most of the venues. Like,
Right.
that's they can put a date on the calendar for a venue and block it out. That's what they got, Nick.
Yep. Yep.
And also they hold on to the data, so and also they own Ticketmaster too,
Mhm.
which I just found out they own Ticketmaster. So they literally are a monopoly. Like, you can't they kind of control all. There's no really negotiating you can do
Yep.
with them, and they're no, I mean, like, I think there's AMG, they really can't compete with them. Live Nation is the biggest. So the only thing we have to do is probably find another venue. But they're still, like, even though they own a lot of venues, think there's still a whole lot of venues that are available that you can, other options that you can go to.
Well, anyone who's ever wanted to put on a local kind of conference or local kind of
Mhm.
like a festival, if there's a Live Nation venue, you almost have to avoid it like the plague. You can't, either you have to sell a whole different ticket package for that, or it's going to be cost an arm and a leg. And they've done, and I
Right.
don't know their business model, but like they
Mhm.
did something smart with money, to like lock these venues up, whether they
Right.
kind of like paid the venue or like just gave them a pretty good contract, or just like, just said, hey, we'll handle it, but it's
Right.
ours.
Right.
And they don't, I don't think, have an ownership stake in like the building, but like they've, like, no contracts can go through that without it going through Ticketmaster. And so it's a monopoly. But it's just a venue. I mean, and especially as we have like maybe more of a hybrid experience, like
Right.
lots of places I have an empty building. I'm a venue. I could be a venue,
You
like
can
we
be
want to work remotely. Right.
cool, yeah, and so that's the thought, Nick, that, like, because it's hybrid model, like, Nick, it's so crazy, man, because, like, I mean, Nick, it doesn't, if you sell a ticket on FanSub at $20, Nick, all you need is to make 50 grand. You need to sell 2,500 and you'll make that money. Like, it's a whole nother revenue model that I don't think any artist, like, and I don't mean to, like, try to take away from people's, like, live in-person events, but for these artists and these entertainers, Nick, like, setting up tours. Like, I remember hearing from the artist Russ that he spent, I think his last tour, he spent like 2 million on it, right, for like a 16 city tour. And I just wanted to tell him, bro, I was like, you could have made a couple of those virtual and not had to spend nearly half of that, right? Like, because from my understanding, touring is not as easy as people think it is. It's a lot of moving parts. There's production, there's tour buses, there's hitting the road. And I'm not saying, we want to really disrupt that, but if we can make it easy on the artist and then also empower them with data and also find ways to help them make even more money, I don't see how anybody would be opposed to
Yep.
that.
How much did he make on that tour that he spent 2 million on? Do you know?
I don't know, but I
So you
know
could have just
he.
invested it into Bitcoin and probably just been, ahead of the
Right.
game on that 2 million.
Right,
Like 2 million
right.
could have been 10, man.
It could have been 10. Oh, we all missed that. Don't get me talking.
Everyone misses it every time.
Every time, because
No
you'll
one
miss.
has
And look,
made money on Bitcoin. I'm just going to tell myself that so I don't feel bad at night. But so, okay, cool. So, and it's crazy. I mean, like, I'd argue that the original fan sub was like, all right, kind of steep uphill climb, like people driving their fans there, new platform. But that was a percolating kind of trend. Like, man, just get some, do anything, get your own platform. OnlyFans. I mean, OnlyFans has other reasons it's a draw, but like you see real brands and real, kind of celebs doing it now because they're like, okay, well, if they have the following, then they can go there. If you do other stuff, you know, people will
Right.
just discover it anyway or whatever. But
Right.
like, you still
Right.
have to go get the following somehow in these other existing platforms. So,
Right.
you
Right.
know, but I think that's more of a fair trade. Like, hey, I'm going to use Instagram. They get all the eyeballs
Mm-hmm.
and they help me with discovery. And so like
Right.
all those transactions you could argue are fair. They get that data, they make the money off it, and they help me with discovery. They're handing me clients for free. I get the app for free,
Right.
but
Right.
I have the right to go pipeline them someplace else where
Right.
I can kind of control and monetize. And if they don't get the value from me, they'll leave. And so it's kind of then that transaction moves over to another site. So that's a good deal. I mean, now, you know, it seems like there's a strong ability to kind of dislodge the live event industry with kind of a hybrid
Right.
model where it's like, if you have, because streaming, I mean, I see the benefit of streaming. Like, well, hey, I'm going to be in, you know, I'm trying to think of like Dave Matthews. Like, I'm in Denver, but it's always some other place, like some Red Rock, Colorado.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
dating
Right. Right. Right.
myself because that's
Right.
like an album. I don't know, but you know, so that's one place. How many people can possibly show up? I mean, the answer is actually a ton. It's like, you know,
Right.
a ton, but if it's one live stream, then that's every person that has the internet. So it's obviously more of an audience there,
Right.
but they don't show up because it's not the same, you know, I'm outside
Right.
or I'm in the venue, I'm in the
Right.
club, or I'm at, you know, whatever. Like, so how, you know, what's that balance and how do you see kind of fan sub serving that balance? Is it, you know, just sort of like finding I mean, I guess if it's a hybrid, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but sort of like,
Right.
how does live stream complement hybrid once we kind of finally get back to that part?
Hybrid, yeah. So I totally seen it as a play, Nick, of having access to the event, like as far as like a geographical, like, are you near the event? I think they play well together because like somebody, your favorite artist could be doing, or your favorite entertainer could be halfway across the world, Nick, right? And you know, it could have been a Friday night. You and some friends want to do XYZ. You know, your favorite band's performing, and you just want to stream it on the TV and show people. So I feel like they play well together if done in the right context, right? Like,
Yep.
It's all about the strategy for how you do it, because you like I say, like, you know, in my opinion, you can could you sell the same? Could some artists could certainly sell the same live stream ticket over and over again because they just have that power, right? And then for some other people, I think if it just needs to be strategy based on how they,
Yep.
you know, when an event is live stream versus when it's in person. And I think
Yep.
when people, if they pay that, you know, that obviously that much attention, they could get the you know the solution or the to help solve the problem they look for. Go ahead.
What's a medium like length tour? How many stops? How many so therefore how many venues are needed throughout kind of
right. So medium tour looks like 12 to 15 stops usually.
That's it.
And
damn.
yeah. So I think the weekends was like 28 actually. So for somebody like him, and I just saw his Live Nation just put the weekend upcoming tour out, and it's an international tour with like 28, 34 stops. So for somebody like him, Nick, he could literally make 4 of those, or I say 4 to 6 of those virtual, and literally he could say somebody like the weekend on a 34. I think it's 34 shows. I just actually remember. So for somebody like the weekend that had 34 stops, I say cut it to like 25 and make 4 of them virtual, and you'll literally make the money back from the other shows. And there's features, Nick, like geofencing is a popular thing you hear in virtual world now. Like, so for instance, on our platform, we can geofence a particular area off so that you can only sell tickets in a certain area, right?
Yep.
So that combined with your strategy, and then obviously you got to use geofencing to make it where some people can buy tickets because you don't want the live stream show being saturated. So people, like, when things get back to normal, like, people will be geofencing concerts so that like it's not saturated with the same, because people don't want to see the same show. And I definitely, nobody, I know personally, I probably wouldn't want to see the same show twice. So it's just certain functionalities that we built into the platform to help people like navigate around, you know, a certain demographic or a certain geographic, you know, people in a certain location seeing an event and then having access to it, right? So if I know I can only, because I'm in New York and I can only see an event, I'll probably be that much more likely to buy an event. Plus, you know, with our pricing, we definitely are trying to keep artists to keep the live paid events on the lower side of the price scale, right? Because people's attention span that long. So, and it's still a lot of trial and error going on right now.
Yep.
But so far everybody loves it. And we're just really getting started, Nick. So
That's dope.
ask me some questions in probably about 3 more months as we
Yep.
fully get in the swing of things. But like I think for right now, people hadn't had a stage, Nick, to
No, that's right.
perform on. So we hadn't even got a lot of those questions yet about what about, I think the first couple, it's mostly the organizations that are asking the hard questions that you're asking right now. The artists are, independent artists specifically, are just like, give me the platform, give me my URL, just let me run, let me make some money, because they have not been monetizing, and maybe the bigger ones, off of streaming, but like I know a whole lot of independent and smaller scaled artists who, have never actually made any money from a show, right. So the show we did, the live event we put on last week, were from some kids out of Chicago, and I want to say they sold around 70 tickets altogether and made probably about $600-700. That's the most money they've ever made from a show, right?
Yep.
Like so it has a different effect for everybody. Like on the smaller side, like this will probably be the most money a lot of these independent small artists have ever made, and on a bigger side, it could potentially be the most money they ever made, and it'll make their touring cycle. It could potentially make it less stressful if used in the right context.
This is awesome. So, you're saying like Atlanta's the mecca of all music. And I was like, man, Toronto, man, you got Drake, you got The Weeknd. I mean, that's basically 99% of record sales probably right now.
It is though. It is though.
So it's really Toronto, actually. Who knew? Canada.
Right. I was just talking about as far as the diversity amongst how many artists or entertainers.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. That's just sort of,
I
think it's an outlier, but then there's going to be the next Drake or the next Weeknd, and it's just going to be like Toronto just keeps it going. Keep that winning streak alive.
I mean, Drake's on a whole nother level right now. Like, I've never seen an artist, and I won't talk about him long, but just never seen anybody with that type of power and that type of just draw. And it's for so long, bro. Like, it's like year 12, right? How are you still doing this? I don't know. And The Weeknd's right there with him. So it seemed like, I mean, 30 now. I mean, Nick, people can. I mean, Jay-Z's what? He's in his 40s. He's still rapping. I guarantee if you dropped the album in, you probably would listen to it as well as everybody else.
Yep.
So yeah.
So I mean, so in the business, so you've run some shows, so the business is making some money on some scale, and it sounds like the ideal. I mean, what seems like a great opportunity for this to be huge is finding a way. Like, I was asking about the tour stops, because it's like, man, okay, if we can get 12 to 16 venues, call it in North America. This is the hybrid platform that runs it. So we're gonna have a 20 show tour or 18 show tour or something, but like 2 or 3 are hybrid. It'd be great to then like compare, like, look, I'm gonna do one virtual versus what's my best location, or maybe second best, right? Maybe it's not going to perform as good as your best, like hometown, all that, whatever. But like, it's like, and then how does that one actually perform? What does the sales do? Because the overhead to produce that's probably way less. Well, actually, it is definitely way less.
Nick, it's way less. It only costs us. I mean, you could put 100,000 people in the stream in a AWS stream, because we built our platform entirely on AWS, and so we're using Amazon Interactive Video Service for our streams, and we can do as many as AWS can handle. There's no it's AWS really went out their way, and COVID actually forced them to build this product, and all I did was take advantage of it right when it became available. And so we could put 1 million people on the stream, and it probably only costs a couple $100.
Yep. And so then it's like, then you'd have I would totally understand if you don't have real data, because people can't compare one versus the other. But yeah, getting a couple big, medium-sized kind of people who are used to doing a tour to make the tour fully around the fan sub. So finding those promoters or those management companies who are like, man, and like, basically if you start by saying we're not going to use Ticketmaster, you don't want to maybe like sort of poke the bear or whatever, but like, dude, you can have a whole thing around it. Now there's a show that's in Atlanta, but it's live streamed, and maybe what if it's fenced to only North America, but then there's one that's shot in Italy or something, or Europe, it's like, dude, I'm in England or whatever, London. But it's got more of a London vibe. I mean, it's just like kind of the set and all that, so that there's still, but actually maybe you don't even gate it. Maybe it's not geofenced, because it's like, dude, I want to see that show in London. And having a real, like, there's sort of like the go live kind of piece where it's like, yeah, just do that, make the money, or the kid's making the $700, but there's also like I'm not spending 2 million kind of per like sort of
Right.
install, but I'm going to still spend like a couple $100,000 to kind of make this a real event. And I really
Right.
want to get people thinking in their minds,
Mm-hmm.
I've got a show. It's like, let's get people together, just like you'd watch a fight or something and pay, a
Right.
ton, like
Yeah.
I'm going to get that. And it's going to be
$120.
an event. Yeah. And she's like, I'm
Right.
going to go ahead and get that to stream here. And maybe
Right.
actually, maybe those are pricing indicators. Cause I do see like how many people are just going to sit at their house being like, I'm watching a concert by myself.
Right.
You
Right.
might be
Right. Right.
streaming
Right.
it to, some super fans might, or if it's just on your
Mm-hmm.
device, maybe that's $10. But if you're streaming it to your sort of like TV,
Mm-hmm.
smart TV app, or
Right.
whatever, it's more about. And I don't know if, first of all, we can figure that out later, but the point being, like,
Right.
people are actually optimized. I don't think there's really been the full on optimization for like, you go have your party in your little like sexy lounge, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like condo in New York City. And
Right.
you're having someone else is doing their thing over there in some other town. And you're all watching maybe not Drake, but the kind of the concert that's, specifically like optimized for being streaming. Green room,
Right.
you can do all
Right.
kinds of different stuff. You could have it be a full, I don't know what an hour is, but 5 hour, 3 hour production, right? So 2 hours a
Right.
show, 1 hour,
Right.
just like green room and stuff where they kind of like break. And then,
Right.
like, I don't know, like, but it's like really optimized and it's a real show. It's a real concert. Maybe it starts
Mm-hmm.
as a companion ticket where it's like, dude, if you buy a ticket, you get
Mm-hmm.
this, or we're kicking off the tour. I don't think it'd be an uphill climb to be like, I'm going to get like literally someone of like the Drake thing, but there's got to be someone there that,
Mm-hmm.
you put this like, hey, comprehensively, this is the concert business model and entertainment
Mm-hmm.
business model of the future that we're powering.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts the artist first. But now if you get them to drive all their concert throughput, even on the in-person through your
Right.
ticketing platform, like you're just collecting
Right.
way more data. And
Right.
now your ticket,
Yeah.
maybe, it's like from ticketing to like mobile entry,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of adding that like, oh, and this person, this is who showed up with the ticket. This is what they
Right.
did on
Right.
site. I actually,
Right.
while I was there, I put in some damn payment RFID things, or,
Right.
you made sort of a transactional, like a token, right? So it's like,
Right.
oh, what if
Yeah.
I could I know what everyone's doing and I can give you that
Right.
data. And now you
Right.
can message to them. And now they're your fans for life. So when you do other go lives, because there's the
Mm-hmm.
tour, right? So artists can still set
Right.
up like the tour. The tour is going to be like
Right.
the extra special. But what about just
Right.
like, hey guys, I'm doing a quick ad hoc thing. It's $5.
Right.
Bam. And now
Right.
we can really see what kind of money can be
Right.
made. I don't know if anyone's really tested it. I mean, you've got kind of like, oh, I just went live on Instagram. I'm Taylor Swift. Like, okay, just people might
Right.
just donate, and
People.
that's going to make a ton of money.
Right.
But what about real people who are trying to make a living?
Right.
And how can
Playing
that
it,
build
yeah.
up? Also, I mean, speaking of Drake though, I'm on like Sirius whatever, because my car is
Uh-huh.
like kind of still has satellite radio. It doesn't like have the whole Apple stuff. It's
You still got
old,
the port?
but like, yeah. It's 2016 though. It didn't do the new doesn't have the new Apple shit. They're always very slow to upgrade stuff, like
Right. Right.
because
Right.
they say it's in QA for longer, but I mean, there's still shit that doesn't work on there. So
No.
I don't know. It's a fallacy. But the point is, like, there's like Drake Radio, Channel 42, and like there's all these like international cats on there. I was like, yeah, dude, and I love it. I've never heard of any of these guys. It's not the kind of like just. I mean, it's like, dude. I mean, Lil Baby is on every third song on all the other channels.
I know,
it's like,
no, I'm trying.
dude,
I'm trying to get him too, Nick. I'm trying hard to get. I'm trying hard to actually get him on the platform.
Yeah.
So,
but think about the Drake Channel 42. Like these guys are like, I mean, I've never even. I mean, I haven't even remotely heard of them, or I don't know any of their sounds. And it's like, to me, it's like so unique. It's like so fresh. I'm like, dude, this guy's like from France and this guy's from England. They all have like accents, and it's like very different than our kind of hip hop, and I love it. And I'm like, shit, there's could be like a whole place of discovery in a platform like this, where it's like, dude, who is influencing, who's promoting what? And there's no reason, and there's no way for me to access that guy other than like, well, his direct maybe YouTube channels or like kind of following him or like doing the digital downloads. But like until the, economics and the kind of, market change for like downloads, musics and albums and all that, and like how much Apple pays you, it's like concerts are still kind of the primary moneymaker, right? So, I would love to be like, man, look at that thing is $10, and like that, like for me right now, because I just stumbled upon that channel, I'm like, that is just the hottest music. I can't even remember any of these guys' names, but I'm just like, dude, it's so dope. It's very like European. And it's like fresh. And I'm like, I want to, like, if there was a concert, I would absolutely consume that. So I think there's a lot of kind of legs for what you're working on. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Where's the business? I mean, are you raising money? You have raised money. When's the next round and who's participating?
Yeah. So we're about to start pitching. I actually got a good group, man, that have been, I didn't have to go find these people. They found us, and our socials have been growing on Twitter pretty good for Fan Sub, right? A lot of people like it. We're on the radar of some decent some big time VCs, actually some decent ones. So we're just probably about to start pitching, at least rolling out updates to potential investors. Starting next week, we'll start updating them probably once every 2 weeks, and then we'll get on a normal schedule of once a month. But then I'm gonna open up probably like a seed round of actually trying probably in about 2 weeks, right? Because we got so right now we got 4 shows scheduled, right? We got 4 shows scheduled, and we'll actually have the full complement of our because like the first 2 shows we only had iOS, the platform that you can view shows on. But now since then, now you can watch it on 4 different platforms now. So first 2 shows we had. Nick, we only had 3 days to promote it, and they sold 70 some tickets between some people with no names, right? At $6, people bought it, and it's an amazing feeling when you start selling tickets too. It feels really good. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'd say we're probably gonna open up a seed round or begin to start to pitch our investors in about 2 weeks. So I wanted a series of shows scheduled, us to be making money. And first, I think the first thing I want to do is proof of concept, right? I knew everything worked, but you don't know until you know, right? So we hadn't actually seen our paid stuff and our paid live streaming work. And with the first 2 shows, we actually, one of the shows was pre-recorded, and then the second one was actually live streamed. So we got to see both situations of what we'll be doing, actually work in the real world, and actually, and nobody had any problems doing anything. So I want to get out the way first. That's been accomplished now. We got four shows that, as of which 2 of them are about to start. They're about to hit the app stores on Friday in full marketing mode, right? And so probably in about 2, I'd say we're probably gonna start trying to raise in about 2 weeks. Probably definitely about 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now.
Sweet. So I mean, hopefully this is like part 1 of the convo. Part 2 is like, now I'm an investor. I'm in. Let's go sell some shit to somebody, man. Like I would definitely want to sell this product. It just seems like, yeah, good.
Yeah, and definitely excited to have you on board, man. Like, but I knew this one was a lot different from a lot of other products, Nick, because like I didn't have to like the investor for this one. Like it's easy. It's super easy, and I know we built or we're on the right path to building the right product, right? Because the just conversations I'm having have been completely different. Like tell me about team, like why you, what makes you guys special, like why? Because and how we feel as a company, nobody's taking like the market authority with a live streaming hybrid platform yet, and we still feel like the gate's just wide open. Like there are definitely it's definitely a lot more competition. Like I mean, you got Scooter Braun in the space, you got some decent players, but nobody like I still myself hadn't bought a paid live stream event, and so like we just feel like there's still a huge door open, and obviously nobody knows when this whole COVID thing is gonna be over with. I mean, we're guessing by the end of the year, right? But and so it's just a huge opportunity. We probably got definitely to the rest of this year to make it work, and to get on a track to where we pivot into the perfect product that actually makes a mark, man, and becomes a household name.
That's right. That's great. I mean, in a couple minutes, and we'll wrap, but I feel like I want to at least tee this up for another convo, but in a few words, tell me about the process from going, what was it like going from sort of pro athlete to startup, getting people coming to you with all kinds of stuff to like, now I'm a bootstrap startup trying to raise money, and I'm asking a lot of people for stuff and
right.
Potentially, well, obviously we know there's failure there because it's not just like, hey, can I get some money? Yes. Oh my gosh, one ask, one check. Right. So I mean, there's a lot like all this success to now all this failure. What was that like?
It was tough, man, because I'm not used to failing. Because I mean, making it to where I made it to that league, I made it. You won at every level at some point, right? Like you won. You're always the best. So that was fucking tough, Nick. Like just like, oh, you're just not the pretty girl in the room no more. Like, and so it taught me it taught me not to waste a whole lot of time. I can definitely tell you that. It taught me where to spend the majority of my time at, right? And actually how to build a culture around something kind of early and how to get people excited about it. I'd say just from failing, like my failures have been my greatest accomplishments in tech, right? I wouldn't say football, because football, you don't have any room to fail, or you'll be out. But tech, like especially with the VCs I'm talking to now, I don't think some of them would invest, Nick, if I hadn't previously failed. To be quite honest with you, so I definitely tell every entrepreneur out there, people that watch this, like it's okay to fail, right? And I don't want you to. I want you to hit it and raise $10 million in C, or a couple $1 million in Series A. You raise 15 million, yeah, but that's probably not going to happen for you. And so embrace it. Like I definitely say, like the moment where I was able to continue, because after gig was tough, man. Like building that whole platform myself and not necessarily executing the way I wanted to, but it was the execution the reason why we failed, right? Just I'd say just not knowing what I don't know. But then this time taking the failures to losses, not being able to raise necessarily, not being able to get traction, and taking it and applying it to this product, so that I don't fail, at least fail in those same ways, right? Like if I'm gonna fail, it'll be with a new product in a whole bunch of new ways, not because I got a lack of knowledge or how to, or just I'm just stumbling on my own toes. So that's kind of how I got over it, man. And I always know, you only need one person to say yes, right? As far as like raising money, and it's better to identify potentially who those yeses are early on, and kind of get them, on your team sooner rather than later. All right, I think that's the biggest thing that's the thing I've done. But I got like, I know, obviously, you need money to raise. Like I could continue to bootstrap this company, but it can't just be me, and it's no longer just me. I got a team that that's helping me run this. And I'd say right now, nobody's being paid. Like everybody, agreed to, something that'll make them work hard, as I'll say. And everybody's highly, highly motivated. And more so, I say, with this product, I actually went and got musical experience, or people that were experts in the music industry or in the entertainment industry, versus, maybe some previous companies I thought I knew, and I can Google it, and that's how I'll find out. No, this time I actually found people to help us run it that are in the industry, that do own labels, are booking agents, are blah blah blah. They live, eat, sleep, breathe this industry. So we're not guessing when we build certain features, because now, Nick, we can build anything we want, right? But you could go down a wormhole and just be building the product that nobody freaking wants. So I came around this time, man, just a lot more educated, and taking my failures and making those positives, and trying to not do the things we did last time. That's all I'll tell anybody, man. And so far it's worked out, and so far, we're looking up, and hopefully the next conversation we'll say Nick's invested as well as some other people.
That's right.
And we're on our way to our Series A, and because I'm still trying to get Drake. I'll tell everybody, I want Drake. I want Lil Baby. I want the biggest of the stars. Sorry.
I'm telling you, man, this is like a title type play, right? It's like, you just
I'm
need
serious.
one person to revolve their thing around this, and now
literally
it's on and
popping. It's on and popping, because and we've even, we're chasing Bobby Shmurda. We're chasing, he just got a big fan of him. And so we're chasing the big players, because we know if you land a major player, A-lister like that, at like our self-serve portal, people will see how they did it, and that'll automatically become an organic thing. Like it's kind of becoming right now. So I think our Players Fan Sub is going to be, we'll produce our own big time live shows, and then organically we need clients producing their own shows. That's how we scale this thing. And then and that's also how it become a brand, because as soon as you book Drake and do a show, everybody knows what Fan Sub is, or any A-lister, Nick, that we do. You'll literally take over the market, and you'll become the authority. And so that's what we're trying to do.
That's right. That's the shit. Well, I think that's great. I think this is a good sort of wrapping point, and it's one. And I was like running late trying to set my whole setup up. So I appreciate you kind of bearing with me on that. So this is awesome. I mean, this is going to be huge, like we know. I think there's a couple salient points in that, which was, don't like, it's okay to fail, but like, don't fail for the same reasons, over and over. Like, at least do that. Like, just don't do the same thing twice.
Literally, don't do the same, like, because what you did, like, because I know, especially with me being a technical founder, I can go off into like rabbit hole because you don't at some point. And as a technical founder, I'll tell them too, like, man, do your customer discovery, find people that'll buy your product. Don't just sit here and build shit, because I can do that. Like, I can sit there and I mean, David, we're working on, I know we got a couple minutes, but my buddy's working on NFT stuff to go in fan stuff. We're working on that right now.
Yep.
We hadn't talked about that. Like, NFTs are here, and we want to let people put their recorded live event into an NFT auction off. We're working on some stuff with fan sub into that, so that I just got it covered. And engineer that works on CNN, he works for CNN. He's actually building it right now. David Hernquist, he's building it right now. And I myself have built smart contracts off of Ethereum, so I know how to do it. And so that's coming as well. And our roadmap will, Nick, if we can just break in, Nick, and get in and become an authority, we'll take over, man. Because we will listen to our customers and we'll build products for people that they enjoy.
Yep. Yeah. And start with the end in mind. And I think we all everyone's guilty of like, man, I see this problem. I have a great idea. It's a solution. It's a solution. It's a solution. Mm-hmm. And finding that balance between asking what other people want and then that thing that you think, right? So it's usually just not really one or the other, right? It's listen to the customers, but it still have a point of view, because you might be the one that is seeing it a little bit differently and is going to drive sort of the connecting of those dots and drive the ultimate kind of paradigm shift. But you can't do it in a vacuum. So finding the balance, of like, because if you just listen to customers, like, give me this, and you end up having the same
definitely
20,000 features.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely finding the balance and not just building 1,000 different things, but you're trying to build something you can scale, right? That's all we're thinking about. Like, can it be scaled? Does it fit multiple people's use cases? Does it solve everybody's problem? And then that's how we kind of determine what feature goes.
So last thing I'll leave you with, I feel like this should be a mini web series that we embark on to be like starting of this, new entertainment business paradigm. And it's just kind of like sort of the subject matter isn't the subject matter is the business and the startup and the process, but like the sub storyline is like the changing of the entertainment business. Cause obviously you're in Atlanta. So then the film, it's all shot in Atlanta.
It's all shot.
And then it's like, oh, but by the way, I'm here. So, bam, like sort of like it's just like the low key promotional stuff. Like we're just shooting YouTube videos and like in Atlanta. So we'll do that too. That'll be our like that's the way to get Drake, man. We got to kind of go got to take the long tail approach. That's the long game, right? Like build a following, be our own sort of vibe. And then maybe that'll attract kind of the right people.
Right. And I can tell you this, man, we already pitched to his booking agent. Like, we had him, like, you got 3. So I tell you right now, you got $3.5 million, like, you'll get Drake. That's what he wants. He also wants 80% of live streaming ticket sales too. That's how expensive. He's expensive. But so we're already at the table, and they did their due diligence on us. Like, I'll tell you, I'm just telling you right now, like, I've already gotten to the table with Nick, where we were at the table with him and his people. We got a price, we know, and so it's just getting back to that table again and making that actually, because you can't play with deals like that, and that's the part of the industry that I'm getting used to. Like, these people are guarantees get sick. That's what makes the deal in this industry. So obviously if we come with the brand and what we've done, and also some guarantees, I hope he ain't as expensive as he is now. I think we got a really good chance to being able to get him to do something.
What about, do they allow you to recoup any of the guarantee? Is that just the guarantee and then you recoup against that with the 20%? Or?
So they'll allow us to recoup the money we spent. Yeah, they will. They definitely will do that. Yeah. So
like sort of like a pref.
Yeah. So it's got money got to be sent in escrow. Like I've learned a lot, Nick, because so Drake's his booking agent also manages the weekend. So you get him, you get the weekend, you get it. That's all. I got a whole list, bro. Like, I had to be booking agent for a little while. I had to be CEO. I had to play every role in this company, like COO, CEO, developer, CTO. I'm like, bro, I played them all, man. So, but I definitely say, for us, and it was fan sub. If you want that A-lister, give them a guarantee. You definitely can get them.
Yep. Well, I wonder if there's like I guess that's an interesting thing to play with, sort of like if that's a market. It's like not proven enough, but you could almost underwrite that separately from needing that to come out of like company cash, or if you're seed round or A round, it's like that could almost be its own thing that you underwrite. Could you tokenize that, right? Could you
we could
sort of say, hey, I need to raise 3.5 to get a Drake show, but like I'll share pieces of the proceeds, because we'll probably make there's just no precedent, but it's like, if we're going to make 20 on 3, I put in $1 if I could risk getting 3, because I could have $1 to lose. And then could that be $10? Yeah. Could that be $50? Yeah. It could be $100. Yeah. It could be 1,000. You know, everyone's kind of doing that math, right? Like,
right.
And then, so that's interesting. So anyway, okay. Well, let's pick that up later, and shoot me a note with kind of the pitch deck and stuff. I think you sent a link. I don't know if I'll see if I have the.
I think I said, yeah. So we got a new pitch deck coming out, and you'll get it because you were gonna get it anyway. So it'll be a brand new pitch deck with Mike, my co-founder Michael, and myself. And it also, Nick, I've been through, dude. This company's been, oh man, I had to fight for this one a little bit because I'll tell you, we switched folks. I've already been through a co-founder, at least one, and so but it came out well. Like he was graceful in his exit, but people that I got involved in care passionately about it. That's all I'll say.
Yep. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's coming along, and I think there is there's a lot more to unpack with kind of the overall journey. And I know you've got a story that's, you know, super compelling and inspiring for a lot of people. But yeah, learning to code, building your own app, being a technical co-founder, going on startup number probably 1,000, at least in your mind, right? So like, always good ideas
in my head. Yeah.
Yeah. And getting some traction, right? So, I mean, there's some traction, you've run some stuff, your revenue positive, you know, with this in a small beta kind of controlled environment.
Yeah, we're still in beta. We're still beta,
yeah. And on your way to a raise. So congratulations on the progress, and thanks for sharing all that you did. I